now I would like to introduce the person who I'm looking forward to working with this year as chairman, the president and CEO of CTIA, the Wireless Association, and our host this week, Steve Largent. Let's give Steve a warm welcome.
Thanks, Ralph. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ralph. It's a real pleasure to be working with Ralph this year as CTIA's chairman. He's really providing us with outstanding leadership, and we're looking forward to a great year at the association and within the industry under his guidance. Well, you may not know this, but this is the 25th anniversary of CTIA Wireless, this very show. We've had a tremendous past, but I'm particularly excited about what's ahead for us and for the industry. The wireless ecosystem continues to evolve and innovate. Unique relationships are being formed, and the industry is proving to be open to new ideas and approaches that inspire constant change. Together, we're perpetually meeting the demands of consumers and the enterprise, and we're creating even greater levels of productivity, efficiency, and convenience. Wireless technology is also having a dramatic and positive impact on our environment, and we're just scratching the surface on what this industry can do for itself and other industries to lower our carbon footprints. That's the story we're taking to policymakers in Washington, D.C. and in state capitals all over the country. This hyper-competitive industry is always changing to satisfy our customers' needs. The dynamic pace and variety of innovation and its positive impact is what we're showcasing in our latest television ad. It's just hit the air, and I want to share it with you here this morning.
My country, sweet land of liberty, all liberty. Oh, there my home is found, land of the purest light, lonely mountainside, let
Well, we think the ad captures the essence of the industry and the hard work that you're doing for Americans. Freedom is wireless, and we know consumers want more. There's plenty of proof of that in several key areas of our semi-annual survey. One of those is commonly referred to as wireless subscribers, but actually the way we've historically tracked that figure has been the number of wireless devices or connections that are operating on U.S. networks. Last year at this time, we reported about 270 million wireless connections. Today, that number has climbed to more than 285 million as wireless air cards, smartphones, emerging devices such as netbooks gain in popularity. You know, wireless service and data revenue continue to increase in spite of a still challenging economic environment. Total revenues are up more than $4.5 billion year to year. Wireless data continues to be a growing piece of the wireless pie. Revenues in that category surpassed $41 billion in 2009. That's a 28% increase from 2008. Wireless data is also accounting for a larger percentage of the total revenue, now making up almost 29% of ARPU. Text messaging continues to be a great success story. It was big news when we broke the 1 trillion mark in 2008. But in 2009, that figure increased by more than 50% to almost 1.6 trillion texts in 2009. And that's not even the most remarkable growth number. In 2009, about 34.5 billion MMS messages were reported in the U.S., an increase of more than 130%. It's clear we're using our devices to do more than ever. That's why our need for spectrum has never been greater. The recently released National Broadband Plan is a good step in the right direction. On behalf of the industry, I want to thank FCC Chairman Julius Genachowski, the Commission, and those who worked on behalf of the plan for all of their hard work. The chairman really wanted to be here with us this morning, but can't because of a congressional hearing on the plan later today. He was kind enough to tape some remarks for us here today. So here is FCC Chairman Julius Genachowski.
Greetings, and thank you for this chance to address CTIA Wireless 2010. I am sorry I couldn't join you in Las Vegas. I had to stay in Washington to testify before Congress on a topic of critical importance to your industry and our nation, the National Broadband Plan. The plan represents the culmination of many months of hard work and provides a blueprint for unleashing the power of broadband to create jobs and economic growth, spur new waves of innovation and investment, and improve education, healthcare, energy efficiency, public safety, and the vibrancy of our democracy. The plan lays out several major goals to serve as a compass over the next decade, goals that can only be achieved with your help. The plan commits the United States to policies that promote global leadership in mobile innovation with the fastest and most extensive wireless networks of any nation. We set this goal because no area of the broadband ecosystem holds more promise for transformational innovation than mobile. This is a sector that can fundamentally transform our society and economy for the better. The plan is more than a call to action. It is a strategy for action, and it includes a series of recommendations to ensure U.S. leadership in mobile. First, we propose a game plan to unleash more spectrum for mobile broadband. All of you are aware of the looming spectrum crunch being driven by the explosion in mobile data consumption. If its recommendations are adopted, the National Broadband Plan will free up 500 megahertz of spectrum over the next decade, of which 300 megahertz will be made available for mobile within the next 5 years. We propose doing so in part through what the plan calls incentive auctions, which would permit existing spectrum licensees, such as television broadcasters in spectrum-starved markets, to voluntarily relinquish spectrum in exchange for a share of auction proceeds and allow spectrum sharing and other spectrum efficiency measures. This market-based mechanism will enable spectrum intended for the commercial marketplace to flow to the uses the market values most. In addition, the plan will encourage innovative ways of using spectrum by creating new avenues for opportunistic and unlicensed use of spectrum, and increasing research into new spectrum technologies. To enhance broadband availability in those states where 3G deployment lags, our plan proposes the creation of a mobility fund as part of broader reforms of the Universal Service Fund. Without increasing the overall size of universal service funding, the plan seeks to provide one-time support for deployment of infrastructure enabling robust mobile broadband networks to bring all states to a minimum level of mobile availability. Bringing all states up to a national standard will help Americans in unserved areas participate in the mobile revolution. To speed network deployment and lower the cost of investment, the plan proposes removing barriers and revising rules that can slow build-out. For example, the plan recommends enhancing the flexibility and speed with which companies can obtain access to spectrum for use as wireless backhaul. It also proposes reforming access to public assets like rights-of-way and examining middle-mile costs. These proposals will build on earlier efforts to cut red tape, like our tower siting shot clock order this past November, a down payment on our broadband plan. Finally, and critically, to improve mobile communications for our first responders, we will develop the 700 megahertz nationwide public safety broadband network to achieve long overdue interoperability. With this plan, we have a special opportunity to lay a foundation for American leadership in the 21st century. To take advantage of this opportunity, we need you to get involved. We need you to lead. If you do, and if we move forward, broadband, including mobile broadband, will be an enduring engine for creating jobs and growing our economy, for spreading knowledge and enhancing civic engagement, for advancing a healthier, sustainable way of life. This is our moment. Let's seize it. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I believe the chairman when he says he wishes he were here with us in Las Vegas and not in Washington, D.C. But we're particularly pleased with the proposal for an additional 500 megahertz of spectrum. We believe it's vital, and we look forward to working with the Commission in the days ahead to help keep America moving forward. It's now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Randall Stephenson has been chairman of the board, CEO, and president of AT&T since 2007. Under his direction, the company is sharply focused on mobility. It's one of the global leaders in wireless devices and data services, and it's at the cutting edge of the evolving world of converged communications. Please welcome one of the most influential executives in our industry, and a gentleman with whom I'm proud to share the same hometown of Oklahoma City, Mr. Randall Stephenson.